The restaurant was buzzing with a low hum of corporate chatter, glasses clinking, polite laughter filling the air. Dim lighting, expensive wine, the kind of place where people pretended to be more sophisticated than they really were. I was not supposed to be here. Jessica made that clear. It was a work event, the kind that spouses do not usually attend. But something about the way she said it, too casual, too rehearsed, had gnawed at me for days. So I came, uninvited, just to see. Just to be sure. I spotted her almost immediately standing near the bar, her back turned to me. Even from a distance, I could tell she was in her element. Laughing relaxed her hand, gesturing animatedly as she spoke to someone. Then she leaned in. Too close. And then her lips met his. Time slowed. My vision narrowed, tunneling in on that moment, that single second where my reality cracked open like fragile glass. I could not move. Could not think. My body was frozen between the impulse to storm over there, and the sick hope that maybe, somehow I had misread the situation. But I had not. I forced my legs to move, each step deliberate, heavy until I was standing right behind them. Close enough to smell the cologne of the man she was kissing. Close enough that she could not pretend she had not seen me. You just ruined her marriage. The words came out steady, colder than I expected. Jessica turned her face, registering shock, but only for a fraction of a second before she smoothed it over into something unreadable. And then she said the thing that made my stomach turn inside out. You were mistaken. She said it so effortlessly, like I was some idiot who had just imagined my wife making out with another man. Like she could rewrite reality just by saying it out loud. The man beside her took a step back, looking between us, clearly uncomfortable. Good. He should be. Jessica, on the other hand, did not even flinch. I let out a breath, trying to keep my voice level. Though my heart was hammering so hard, I could hear it in my ears. Oh, so I did not just watch my wife kiss another man. Interesting. Enlighten me, Jess. Her lips parted. Her brain scrambling for the right response. I could see the calculations happening behind her eyes. The spin, the damage control, the desperate attempt to hold on to the lie, even as it crumbled between us. It's not what you think. That was the best she could come up with. That tired, pathetic excuse. So explain it to me, I said, my voice sharp enough to cut glass. Explain how my eyes are lying to me. Explain how this I gestured between them is not exactly what it looks like. She hesitated just for a second. And in that second I saw it. The fear, not fear of losing me. No, fear of exposure, fear that the illusion she had so carefully built was crashing down around her. She let out a forced laugh, shaking her head like I was being ridiculous. Ethan, I do not have time for one of your paranoid outbursts. Paranoid. She was really going to stand there and gaslight me in real time. The man, her coworker, I assumed, cleared his throat, awkwardly adjusting his tie. I could see the panic in his face now. He was not used to being caught. Probably never thought he would be. I turned to him. What's her name? He hesitated, glancing at Jessica like she might somehow rescue him. She did not. Mark, he finally said, voice uncertain. Mark, do you always kiss married women at company dinners? Or is this just a special occasion? His mouth opened and closed, but no sound came out. Jessica scoffed, crossing her arms, acting like I was the one making a scene. Can you not do this here? She hissed. You're embarrassing yourself. I laughed at the sound, bitter and humorless. Oh, I'm embarrassing myself. I'm not the one shoving my tongue down some guy's throat while my husband is in the same building. Heads returning now. People were watching. Good. Let them. Jessica grabbed my arm, nails digging into my skin as she leaned in. Drop it, Ethan. Right now. Or what? I shot back, yanking my arm free. What exactly do you think is going to happen here, Jess? You think I'm just going to walk away, go home, and pretend I did not see any of this? That I'm going to swallow your lies like I have for God knows how long? She exhaled sharply, glancing around as if looking for an exit or maybe a way to spin this in her favor. But there was not one, not anymore. I stared at her waiting, daring her to give me something, anything other than more lies. And then finally, she said something honest. Fine, believe whatever you want. That was it. No apology, no remorse, just dismissal. And that's when I knew whatever I thought our marriage was before tonight, it was over. I stood there for a moment, letting her words settle, letting the weight of them crush whatever was left of the person I used to be before I walked into this restaurant. Fine. Believe whatever you want. That was not guilt. That was not regret. That was contempt. Jessica had been caught, and instead of breaking down, instead of begging, instead of even trying to salvage whatever was left, she was irritated. Annoyed. Like I was some minor inconvenience ruining her evening. I felt something inside me snap, something deep, something that had held on for too long. I looked at Mark, this pathetic excuse of a man who still had not figured out whether he should stay or run. He would not look at me, would not look at her. Coward. You know what, Jess? I said, stepping back, my voice unnervingly calm. You rewrite. I do believe what I want. And I believe you lying, cheating piece of garbage. Jessica rolled her eyes. Real mature. Mature? I let out a sharp laugh. I'm not the one acting like getting caught with another man's tongue in my mouth is just another Tuesday. A few people around us gasped. Good. Let them hear it. Let them all hear it. Mark took another step back, clearly realizing he wanted no part of this anymore. I turned to him. Do not go anywhere, Mark. I think you and I should have a little talk. Man to man. Ethan, stop it. Jessica snapped, her voice suddenly sharper. I ignored her. I was done listening to her. I was done being reasonable. I was done playing the fool. I looked at Mark. You married? He shook his head quickly. No. Dating anyone? Again, he shook his head. So no girlfriend? No wife? No fiancé at home wondering where you are? No, man. Then tell me, Mark, I interrupted, voice cold. What's it like knowing you read just someone else's side piece? His face burned red. Jessica exhaled, her patience finally wearing out. Oh my God, Ethan, enough. I snapped my head toward her, something dark and unfamiliar rising in my chest. Enough? Enough? Are you serious right now? Yes, she spat. You remaking a scene. I almost laughed. Making a scene? Jessica, you made the scene. I just walked into it. She glared at me, breathing heavy, her chest rising and falling like she was about to say something else, something cruel, something to try and cut me down, but then she stopped. Her gaze shifted behind me and her expression flickered. I turned just in time to see a woman walking up to us. A woman who was very clearly walking toward Mark. She was beautiful, elegant, dressed like someone who belonged in this kind of place. But her face? Her face told a different story. She looked like she had just been hit by a truck. Mark, her voice was tight, controlled, but there was something underneath it, something dangerous. Jessica's face went pale. Oh, this just got interesting. I looked back at Mark, whose entire body had gone stiff. Jessica? The woman's voice was sharp now. What the hell is this? Jessica's lips parted, but no words came out. I looked between them, putting the pieces together, and then it hit me. Mark was not single. Jessica had lied. Again, I turned back to the woman. Let me guess. Wife? Her eyes snapped to me, and in that split second, I saw everything. The recognition. The realization. The same sinking feeling I had moments ago, the kind that makes your stomach drop into the earth. She swallowed. Fiancé. And just like that, the entire night exploded. For a second, nobody moved. The weight of the moment pressed down on all of us, thick, suffocating. The fiancé's eyes darted between me, Jessica, and Mark, her breathing shallow, hands clenched at her sides. I could feel the rage radiating off her. Mark, she said, her voice low, dangerous. What the hell is this? Mark, The pathetic excuse of a man that he still had not figured out what to do. His mouth opened, then closed, then opened again. If he was hoping for some miraculous excuse to fall from the sky, he was about to be disappointed. Jessica finally found her voice. Olivia, it's not shut up. The way Olivia snapped her head toward Jessica was almost impressive. A single look and my dear wife flinched. So she could feel shame. Interesting. Olivia turned to me now, her expression shifting, scanning me, putting the pieces together. She swallowed. You re her husband? I nodded. You re his fiancé? Her jaw tightened. Unfortunately. And just like that, the night took a sharp turn from heartbreak to something else. Something vengeful. Olivia exhaled, long and controlled, like she was holding herself together by a thread. Then, without breaking eye contact with me, she held out her hand. I hesitated. Come on, she said. If I have to deal with this mess, I'd rather not do it alone. I stared at her, then at Mark, who looked like he was about to throw up, and Jessica, who was shifting uncomfortably, probably realizing just how bad this was about to get for her. Then I took Olivia's hand. And just like that, we became allies in the middle of our war. Jessica's voice came out sharp, panicked. Ethan, what are you doing? I turned to her. What does it look like? She scoffed, her face twisting into something ugly. Oh, so what? You going to run off with his fiancée now? That's your big move? I laughed, actually laughed, because the sheer audacity of her was almost unbelievable. Oh, Jessica, you really still think this is about you, do not you? She opened her mouth, but Olivia cut in. Mark, she turned to him now, her voice eerily calm. How long? Mark hesitated. Olivia, how long? A muscle in his jaw twitched. A few months, the words hit, even though I already knew what kind of betrayal this was. Hearing it still sent something sharp through my ribs. I let go of Olivia's hand. Months, huh? I exhaled, shaking my head, then turned to Jessica. Tell me, did you ever plan on stopping? Or were you just going to ride this out until I finally caught you? Jessica's eyes flashed with something. Annoyance, anger, like this inconvenience of being caught was somehow my fault. Do not act like I'm the villain here, Ethan. I blinked. Are you out of your goddamn mind? She crossed her arms, chin lifting. Our marriage has been dead for a long time, and you know it. I let out a slow breath, forcing myself to stay in control, but Olivia was not as patient. She turned to Mark, her voice pure venom. And what about us? Were we dead too? Because last time I checked, I was still wedding dress shopping, you miserable piece of. Mark finally snapped. I never meant for this to happen. Oh, that was rich. Olivia let out a short, bitter laugh. Oh, you never meant for this to happen. Wow, that fixes everything, Mark. Great job. Jessica was still looking at me like I was somehow the one blowing this out of proportion. Ethan, can we talk about this privately? I turned to her, my voice dropping. Oh, now you want privacy? Now that your little game has completely collapsed. Sorry, Jess. That's not how this works. Jessica's face twisted in frustration, but before she could say another word, Olivia stepped forward and threw her drink straight into Mark's face. The entire restaurant went silent. Mark gasped, sputtering, his suit drenched in whatever overpriced cocktail Olivia had been holding. Jessica lunged toward Olivia. Are you serious? Oh, I'm dead serious. Olivia threw the empty glass onto the table with a sharp clink, then turned to me. Come on. I need her before I commit a felony. And before Jessica could say one more word, Olivia grabbed my wrist and dragged me the hell out of there. We burst through the restaurant doors into the cold night air, our breaths sharp, our bodies electric with adrenaline. Olivia let go of my wrist the second we hit the sidewalk, running a hand through her hair, pacing. I could see it, her hands were shaking. Mine were too. For a moment neither of us spoke. Cars passed, distant chatter from pedestrians filled the silence, but between us, nothing but the crushing weight of betrayal. Then Olivia stopped, exhaled and turned to me. That just happened. I let out a short, humorless laugh. Yeah, it really did. She shook her head, a bitter smile pulling at the corners of her mouth. I threw a drink at him. Yeah, you did. I glanced back at the restaurant doors, half expecting Jessica and Mark to come storming out after us. And I enjoyed every second of it. Olivia snorted. Good. I did too. And then, just like that, the exhaustion hit. The weight of everything, the months of lies, the slow, creeping realization that the life I thought I had was nothing more than a carefully constructed illusion. My knees felt unsteady, my body suddenly too heavy for itself. I took a deep breath, rubbing a hand down my face. God, what the hell do we do now? Olivia crossed her arms, shifting her weight. I do not know about you, but I'm not going back in there. Oh, same. I let out a sharp exhale. I'm done with that place. I'm done with her. The words felt foreign in my mouth, like I had not fully processed what they meant yet. I'm done. 7 years of marriage, years of memories of building a life together, gone in a single night. Olivia studied me for a moment, her expression unreadable. Then she reached into her clutch, pulled out her phone, and checked the time. Okay, she said decisive. Here's what we were going to do. I raised an eyebrow. Oh, you've got a plan already. Damn right I do. She tucked her phone away. We are not going home. Not yet. I blinked. Excuse me? Think about it. Olivia gestured vaguely at the street. You go home. What happens? Jessica follows you, right? She shows up, starts gaslighting you, spinning some bull she caught herself. Some nonsense about how you misunderstood everything or how you pushed her to this. And you know what? You might just fall for it even a little because that's what happens in moments like this. My stomach twisted. Because she was right. Jessica was the kind of person who would show up. She tried to twist it. She tried to make me feel like I was overreacting, like I had any fault in this. And the worst part, there was a version of me that might have listened. Olivia pointed a manicured finger at me. And me? If I go home, you know what happens? Mark's waiting for me. He's going to be sitting in my apartment looking all pathetic, ready to cry about how he did not mean to hurt me. And suddenly I'll be the bad guy for not forgiving him. She shook her head. No, we're not doing that. We're not letting them win tonight. I hesitated. So what's your alternative? She grinned. We go get a drink. Somewhere else. Anywhere but here. I frowned. You just threw a drink at your fiancé, and now you want another one. Damn right I do. That was an expensive cocktail, and I only got one sip. I let out a sharp laugh before I could stop myself. A real one. The first real one in what felt like forever. She smiled, satisfied. See? That's better already. I exhaled. Shaking my head. Staring down the street like the answer to my whole life was waiting for me at the next block. Maybe it was. Maybe it was not. But one thing was for sure. I was not ready to go home. Fine. I glanced at her. You pick the place. Oh, I already have one in mind. And just like that, we walked away from the wreckage, leaving our past behind us. If only for one night. We ended up in a dimly lit bar across town. The kind of place where no one asked questions and no one cared who you were. It smelled like whiskey and old leather with the hum of soft jazz playing from a half-broken speaker in the corner. It was the opposite of that pretentious high-end restaurant where our night had imploded. Perfect. Olivia slid onto a bar stool, still radiating the kind of energy that only came from pure unfiltered rage. I followed, my body still buzzing, though now it was not just from anger. It was from the relief of being away. The bartender walked over, an older guy with a tired face. What'll it be? Olivia did not even hesitate. Whiskey. Meat. I raised an eyebrow. That's a strong choice for someone who just wasted a perfectly good cocktail. She shot me a look. Are you ordering or just judging my choices? I smirked. I'll have the same. The bartender nodded and walked off. Olivia drummed her fingers against the bar, exhaling like she was still trying to burn off the last of her fury. So she said after a moment, "Tell me, Ethan, at what point did you realize your wife was a complete fraud?" I have to laugh, but it was not a happy one. Tonight, obviously, she gave me a pointed look. "Come on. No way you were completely blindsided. No good feelings. No moments where you thought something's not right." I hesitated. Because yeah, I had. I guess I rubbed my jaw. I noticed she was different. Distant. Secretive. But every time I brought it up, she made me feel like I was the crazy one. I exhaled sharply. "You know what she said to me tonight?" Right after I caught her. Olivia raised an eyebrow. "Let me guess. It's not what you think." I scoffed. "Clothes." She looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You're mistaken." Olivia actually laughed. "Oh my God! That's elite level gaslighting." "Right." I shook my head, still furious. Like I somehow imagined watching my wife shove her tongue down another guy's throat. The bartender set down our drinks, and we both grabbed them immediately. Olivia raised hers to watching our entire futures crumble in real time. I clinked my glass against hers. Cheers. We both knocked back our drinks. The burn hitting instantly. I welcomed it. After a beat, Olivia leaned forward, tilting her head. "So what's next for you?" I let out a slow breath, swirling the ember liquid in my glass. "Honestly, I have no idea. I have not even processed all of this yet." Olivia nodded like she understood the better than anyone. "Yeah. Same." A silence settled between us, but it was not uncomfortable. For the first time in hours, I did not feel like I was drowning in betrayal. Then Olivia suddenly grinned. "Okay. Here's a fun question. Let's say you had one chance to completely ruin Jessica's life. No consequences. What would you do?" I blinked. "That's a dangerous question." She shrugged. "So? You telling me you do not want revenge?" I thought about it. About all the ways I could expose her, humiliate her, make her feel even a fraction of the pain she had dumped onto me. But then I shook my head. Honestly, the best revenge is walking away, letting her deal with the mess she created. She's already lost me, and I was the only person who ever truly had her back. Olivia watched me, then nodded approvingly. "All right. Respectable answer." I smirked. "And you? What's your grand revenge plan for Mark?" She grinned way too fast. "Oh, I'm going to ruin his life." I nearly choked on my drink. "Jesus. Oh, do not look at me like that." She leaned in. "That man let me plan an entire wedding while he was running around with your wife. Do you know how much custom floral arrangements cost? I'm getting something out of this." I shook my head, laughing despite myself. "Remind me never to get on your bad side." Her smirk deepened. Smart man. We sat there trading stories, drowning the night in whiskey and sharp-edged humor. Two strangers bound together by betrayal. And for the first time since my world collapsed, I did not feel alone. 2 hours and several whiskey refills later. Olivia and I were slumped back against the bar, still buzzing from everything that had happened. Not from the alcohol. It was not enough to erase the night, but from the adrenaline, the sheer insanity of it all. I glanced at her. "So what's your next move?" She tilted her glass, watching the liquid swirl. "Oh, I'm going nuclear." I smirked. "Nuclear?" She nodded. "I was supposed to marry that lying sack of garbage in 6 weeks. 6 weeks, Ethan. Do you know how much work goes into planning a wedding? The seating charts, the venue deposits, the dress fittings? I poured months of my life into making that day perfect. And meanwhile, he was out playing house with your wife." She downed the rest of her drink in one gulp and set the glass down with a sharp clink. "No, he does not get to just walk away from this." I raised an eyebrow. "So what's the plan?" She smirked. And for a second, I actually felt sorry for Mark. "I'm not canceling the wedding," she said simply. I blinked. "What?" She leaned forward, her eyes gleaming. I'm not canceling the wedding. Not yet. Do you know how much of my own money went into this? My parents' money? Everyone is expecting a huge, extravagant event. I say we let that expectation ride just long enough for him to think he might get out of this without total destruction. She tilted her head. And then right when he least expects it, boom, I narrowed my eyes. Boom, she grinned, public humiliation. I exhaled. Damn, remind me never to betray you. Smart man, she said again, smirking as she reached for her glass, then groaned when she realized it was empty. I laughed. All right, let me get the next round. But as I signaled for the bartender, my phone buzzed in my pocket. Jessica, I stared at the screen, my stomach tightening. Of course, she was calling. It had been too long since I stormed out of that restaurant. She must have assumed I had cooled off, that I was ready to listen. I was not. Olivia saw the look on my face. Let me guess. Her. I nodded, turning the phone over so the screen faced the bar. We both watched as Jessica's name flashed again, vibrating insistently, refusing to be ignored. Olivia exhaled. You gonna answer? I thought about it. About what she would say. About the way she would try to twist this, spin some excuse, make me second-guess everything. I let it ring. When it finally stopped, Olivia let out a satisfied hum. Good choice. But not even 10 seconds later, my phone buzzed again. This time it was a text. Jessica, we need to talk. I can explain everything. Olivia scoffed. Oh, that's rich. I clenched my jaw, already feeling my blood pressure rise. Explain everything. What was there to explain? I had seen it with my own eyes. There was no gray area. No misunderstanding. She had cheated. Then another text. Jessica, where are you? And then before I could even process that one, Jessica, are you with someone? Olivia raised an eyebrow. Oh, she is panicking. I exhaled sharply, shaking my head. She has always been like this. It's like she does not even care about what she did. She only cares about losing control of the situation. Olivia clicked her tongue. So what's the move? Gonna tell her where you are? Invite her down for a friendly drink. I barked out a laugh. Not a chance. My phone buzzed again. Jessica, Ethan, answer me. Olivia smirked. Oh, she is definitely losing it. I stared at the message, my pulse thudding in my ears. Then without a word, I put my phone face down on the bar. Olivia grinned. Damn, that was kind of hot. I rolled my eyes, but I was grinning too. For the first time all night, I felt like I was winning another drink later, and I was feeling something I had not felt in months, maybe even years. Freedom. Not just from Jessica, but from the entire game she had been playing with me. The gaslighting, the manipulation, the slow erosion of trust disguised as marital issues. Sitting here, across from Olivia, who had just had her entire life ripped apart the same way I had, I realized something. I was not sad. I was angry. And honestly, I was done being the good guy. Olivia leaned forward, twirling her empty glass between her fingers. So tell me something, she said, her voice moved, teasing. If Jessica texted you right now and said she was at your house waiting for you, would you go? I scoffed. Absolutely not. Even if she said she'd tell you the truth, I exhaled, shaking my head. Olivia, there's no truth. There's just whatever version of the story makes her look the least guilty. Olivia smirked. Wow, you really are learning. I rolled my eyes. Do not act so proud of me yet. She chuckled, but before she could say anything else, her phone buzzed on the bar. We both looked at it. Mark, her entire face transformed in an instant. The playfulness vanished, replaced with something cold, calculated. She tilted her head, staring at the screen like it was a puzzle she was about to solve. I studied her. You gonna answer? Her lips curled up in a slow, dangerous smile. Oh, I'm gonna do a lot more than that. I watched as she swiped to accept the call, pressing the phone to her ear. Mark, she said sweetly, what a surprise. I could not hear him, but I could guess. Probably some pathetic apology, some weak attempt at damage control. Olivia's expression did not change. "Oh no, I'm not mad," she said, her voice deceptively light. "I mean, sure, I could be upset that my fiancé has been sneaking around with another woman for months." She threw me a look, her eyes gleaming with something dangerous. "But honestly, I'm just glad I found out now. Before I wasted even more of my life on you." I smirked, watching her work. Pause. Then Olivia laughed. A sharp, mocking sound. "Oh, Mark, sweetheart. Do you really think there's anything you can say right now that I would believe?" I could not hear his response. But whatever it was not good enough. Because Olivia's face darkened. She leaned forward, elbows on the bar, her voice dropping into something low, lethal. "You know, I was going to be civil about this. I was going to let you slink away like the pathetic little cheater you are. But then you had to go and call me like I was just going to forgive you." She let out a sharp, humorless laugh. "So now I've decided I'm going to ruin you, Mark?" I raised my eyebrows. "Damn," she twirled a strand of hair around her finger, feigning boredom. "You think you were going to marry me and still keep Jessica on the side? Cute. Hope it was worth it. Because I'm about to make sure you regret every second of it." Another pause. Then Olivia pulled the phone away from her ear and hung up. She did not say goodbye. She did not even let him finish. She just ended the call and placed her phone face down on the bar. A slow grin spread across my face. "That was beautiful." She smirked, tossing her hair over her shoulder. "I have my moments." I shook my head, letting out a long breath. Jesus, what a night. Olivia leaned in, resting her chin on her hand. "Ethan, be honest. Are not you just a little curious what Jessica would say if you picked up?" I hesitated. Because, yeah, I was, not because I wanted to believe her. Not because I wanted her back. But because I wanted to see how far she'd go to save herself. And maybe, just maybe, I wanted to hear her squirm. So I picked up my phone, scrolled through my missed calls and called Jessica back. Olivia's grin widened. "Oh, this is going to be fun." The phone barely rang twice before Jessica picked up. "Ethan," her voice was breathless, frantic, like she'd been waiting, like she actually thought I'd come running back, ready to listen, ready to let her spin her lies into something soft enough to forgive. I leaned back in my chair, letting the silence stretch for a second longer than necessary. Let her sweat. Then I said calmly, "I must have missed your first 50 calls. What's up?" From across the bar, Olivia pressed her lips together, stifling a laugh. Jessica exhaled sharply. "Where are you? We need to talk." I swirled the last of my whiskey in my glass. "We're talking right now. You know that's not what I mean." She sounded annoyed now, like I was the one being difficult, like she had not just torched our entire marriage. I exhaled through my nose, my patience already paper thin. "All right, Jessica, let us talk." "Go ahead, explain." Pause. Then, as if reading from a script, she sighed, "Look, I never meant for you to find out this way." I laughed, actually laughed. "Oh, you never meant for me to find out. That's what you're leading with." Across from me, Olivia gave an approving nod. Jessica faltered, "Ethan, come on. This is not as simple as it looks." I tilted my head. "It looked pretty simple when your tongue was down Mark's throat." Silence. Then she switched tactics. I knew she would. "Ethan," she said, her voice softer now, warmer, "you know, things between us have not been good for a while." I stilled, because I knew exactly where this was going. "Things have not been the same." She continued, "You've been distant. We've been fighting. I felt like you were not even trying anymore." A heavy sigh. "I was lonely, Ethan." I shut my eyes, breathed in, controlled the fire raging inside my chest. When I spoke, my voice was cold. "So let me get this straight. You were lonely. So you cheated." Jessica hesitated. "It was not like that." "No," I snapped. "Then what was it like?" "Jessica, explain it to me," Because I must be missing something more. Silence. Good. Then, barely a whisper. I did not want to hurt you. Olivia let out a sharp, disbelieving laugh. I almost put the phone on speaker just so Jessica could hear it. I leaned forward, gripping my glass. You did not want to hurt me. That's interesting. Because when I walked into that restaurant tonight, you did not look like someone who was afraid of hurting me. You looked like someone who was pissed they got caught. She let out a frustrated breath. Ethan, please, we need to talk about this in person. Can you just come home? There it was. The pull. The attempt to reel me back in. She thought if she could get me alone away from the anger, the logic, the truth, she could smooth things over that I'd sit on the couch with her, let her cry, let her rest her head on my shoulder, let her tell me everything I did wrong that led to her choices. I almost wanted to laugh at how predictable it was. I felt Olivia watching me waiting. I met her gaze. Then very clearly, I said into the phone, I'm not coming home, Jessica. Silence. A beat too long. Then sharp and clipped. Where the hell are you? Olivia smirked. I exhaled slowly. Out. Out. Jessica repeated. Out where? I glanced at Olivia, whose eyes lit up with pure chaos. She mouthed to tell her. I raised an eyebrow. Oh, why the hell not? I'm at a bar, I said. Having a drink. Jessica's voice sharpened. With who? I smirked. There it is. I could practically hear the jealousy dripping from her words. It was not that she loved me. It was not even that she wanted me back. No, Jessica just hated losing. And the idea of me, her husband, sitting at a bar with someone else while she scrambled to do damage control. It was driving her insane. I leaned back, watching Olivia watch me, and said into the phone, Mark's fiancé. Silence, absolute dead silence. Then you re-joking. I grinned. Nope. Jessica lost it. Are you kidding me, Ethan? She shrieked. That's low. That's really low. I scoffed. Oh, you want to talk about low, Jessica? Because from where I'm sitting, you're not exactly in a position to lecture me about morals. You're being petty. I laughed. Petty? No, petty would be me showing up to your office tomorrow and letting everyone know what kind of person you are. Petty would be calling your parents and telling them their daughter is a cheater. Petty would be dragging this out for weeks just to make your life miserable. I leaned forward, my voice dropping. I'm not being petty, Jessica. I'm being done. She sucked in a sharp breath, but before she could say another word, I ended the call. And for the first time all night, I felt like I could finally breathe. Olivia raised her glass, grinning. Now that was hot. I shook my head, exhaling sharply. Jesus Christ. She clinked her glass against mine. So what now? I looked at my phone one last time at the screen still lit with Jessica's name before flipping it over and pushing it away. Then I met Olivia's gaze. And for the first time all night, I smiled. Yeah. Now I drink. The next morning hit like a freight train. Not because of the alcohol I'd had worse. No, this was different. This was the kind of exhaustion that came from burning down an entire life in a single night. I cracked my eyes open, immediately recognizing that I was not in my own bed. The hotel room was unfamiliar, but not unexpected at some point during our whiskey-fueled war strategy session. Olivia and I had decided that neither of us should go home. Not to them. Not yet. The events of last night slammed into me all at once. The confrontation, the bar, the phone call, Jessica losing her mind when she found out where I was. I exhaled sharply, pushing myself up. And that's when I saw her. Olivia, she was curled up on the other side of the room, fast asleep in an oversized hotel robe, one arm flung over her face. A room service tray sat on the nightstand. The remains of what looked like a half-eaten club sandwich, and a pile of fries. I vaguely remembered us ordering food at some ungodly hour, both of us delirious from everything that had gone down. And now reality was here. And reality meant consequences. I scrubbed a hand down my face, grabbed my phone and hesitated. I already knew what I'd find. A long list of missed calls, dozens of unread messages. Jessica was not done. I braced myself and opened them. Sure enough, the texts were all over the place. First, there was the guilt. Jessica, I do not even recognize you anymore. I made a mistake, but so did you, Ethan. You walked away instead of trying to fix this. That says a lot. Then came the manipulation. Jessica, so what? You think you're perfect? You think you never did anything wrong in this marriage? And then, finally, the desperation. Jessica, just come home. Please. We can talk. I love you. I stared at the words, feeling nothing. A week ago, this would have wrecked me. I would have sat with my guilt, let her words get inside my head, wondered if maybe, just maybe, she was right. But now, I saw through her. She was not sorry. She was scrambling. Behind me, Olivia groaned, shifting in her sleep. Then, without even opening her eyes, she muttered, "You better not be thinking about answering her." I have to laugh. I'm not. She cracked when I open. Good. Because if you do, I'll be forced to throw another drink in someone else's face, and I am out of cocktail money. I shook my head, tossing my phone onto the nightstand. No drinks necessary. Olivia sat up, stretching. So what's the plan then? I let out a slow breath. First, I filed for divorce. She grinned. Now we re-talking. I stood, grabbed my jacket. And you? She smirked. Oh, do not worry about me. Mark has no idea what's coming. I laughed. Remind me again why we did not meet under normal circumstances. She shrugged. Because then we'd be boring. I shook my head, heading for the door. Olivia. She raised an eyebrow. Yeah. I met her gaze. Thanks. She smiled. A real one this time. Anytime. And with that, I walked out, leaving the wreckage of last night exactly where it belonged, behind me. I walked out of that hotel with nothing but my phone, my car keys, and the absolute certainty that my life was never going to be the same again. And for the first time in a long time, I was good with that. The drive back to my house was quiet. No music, no distractions, just the steady hum of the road beneath me and the weight of what came next. I already knew Jessica would be there. Of course she would. She was not the kind of person to accept losing control. And right now she was losing badly. Sure enough, the moment I pulled into the driveway there, she was sitting on the front steps like a woman in the middle of a badly written romantic drama, her face painted with just the right amount of sadness, just the right touch of regret. If I did not know any better, I might have actually fallen for it. I got out of the car, shutting the door harder than necessary. She stood immediately. Ethan, I did not respond. Did not give her anything. Just walked past her and unlocked the door. Can we talk? She asked quickly, stepping inside behind me. I exhaled through my nose, tossing my keys onto the counter. That depends. Are you going to lie to my face again? Or are we finally at the part where you admit you're exactly who I think you are? She flinched, but only for a second. Then she sighed, her shoulders dropping as she went for the last move. She had left remorse. I screwed up, she whispered, her voice soft, broken. I know I did. And I do not expect you to forgive me overnight, but I turned to face her fully. Jessica, she blinked. I let the silence sit between us, let her feel just a fraction of the emptiness she had left in me. Then finally I said the two words that sealed it all. We redone. Her lips parted. Ethan, please. No, I said, voice steady. You do not get to please me anymore. You made your choices and now you have to live with them. Without me. Her breath hitched. She was not used to this. Was not used to me standing my ground. But I was not done. You do not love me, I continued. You just love winning. And right now you're losing and you see a not stand it. She swallowed. That's not true. I tilted my head. Then tell me, if I had never caught you last night, would you have ever told me the truth? Her face paled. And that was it. That was my answer. I grabbed my phone, already pulling up my lawyer's contact. I'll be filing for divorce this week. I suggest you start looking for a new place. Her breath came out shaky. You really doing this? I gave her one last look. Jessica, you did this. She did not have a response for that. I walked past her, heading for the stairs. I did not turn around when I heard her start crying. Did not stop when she muttered my name one last time. Did not hesitate when I reached my bedroom and shut the door behind me. She could cry all she wanted. I was finally free. And that was all the closure I needed.